Hi there, welcome back to Tabletop Sagas. Brett here, and today we are back on some World War II. Now, as some of you may remember, back last year I did a series of videos for some 28mm bolt action 101st Airborne, and well, they've been languishing in a box for a good while, and I think I need to get them out onto the table and have an enemy to play against. Not quite ready to do a full bolt action force, but there are some other games that we can look at as we build up to that, such as 200 Hours. So let's swap over to the painting table and I'll show you what it is that I have been working on this week. So here we have the box that I have been, well, not completely working on, but mostly working on for that this week. I picked it up at my friendly local game store. They've probably had it on the shelf for, well, to be perfectly honest, I don't know how long. And it's this one. It's the 200 Hours, their expansion Guards of Facility 9. I have previously picked up the starter set from Grafenau Games, so I thought that this one would be a good addition to my collection and a great way to help probably clear off some dead stock that's been at my local game store for, let's say, probably years. You can see here this is an expansion to the German side of the forces, so you've got a lot of guys from the Wargames Atlantic plastics, the sort of stuff that if you go and check out any reviews of the starter set you will see. So that's the sentries and the dog handlers and all that sort of stuff. Well, you do get some cool little additions. So you get 5 metal characters that are specific to this box, and you also get a set of metal alternate heads to go on some of your sentries as well to create these gas mask wielding guys as well. It's always nice to have some additional guys, obviously, and additional guys that look a little bit different. Absolutely brilliant. Do love to see it. So looking here at the sculpts, we've got some of the Wargames Atlantic bases here. So these are the very flat ones. They are designed to have magnets in them, all that fun stuff. They look pretty decent, so I'll probably use them. And here we've got the Wargames Atlantic sprues. These sprues are, well, they're the German sentry sprues. They are the ones we've seen before from Wargames Atlantic, the ones that are in the starter set. They're really nice. They give a lot of different options here. You can see you can make a load of guys. You could follow the build instructions and make the exact set that's on the box. You can go crazy, make whatever you want to have in addition to your force as well. Nice little choice. And then you've got your cards for all of your new characters and the new masked guys. So stuff to add to your collection. Let's just have a look at those masks, get them, yep. So the mask guys are these, well, it's gas masks. They're at a chemical facility, or it's kind of almost adjacent to a weird science type sort of situation. You've got the metal figures in the bag as well. So these are the 5 metal characters. So you've got the female, I cannot remember what she's called, but yeah, the sort of female officer, probably quite, you know, bullish and sort of throws her weight around and manages to control all of the men. You've got the scientists. This could be a mad scientist who is actually evil, or somebody who is just claiming to be. You've got the injured veteran in his nice leather black coat, and then you've got the, is it the Gestapo agent? The Secret Service guy who's going to come around, find where the secret guys are hidden and, you know, root them out. And then you've got the commandant, the operator, the governor of the full facility. So taking the metal miniatures and getting them on their bases, getting them all cleaned up and primed, this is what they look like. They're in a nice, just really basic sort of grey and then a bit of a white zenithal, just to pick out that detail. You can see these miniatures, they are slightly exaggerated heroic sort of scale to make everything a little bit cartoonish almost. But to be honest, not massively. The details are not, you know, over the top. They are relatively clean and simple. I do really like. I do apologize here about the lack of focus on this bit. We'll sort that out in a second. There we go, that's something a little bit better. So yeah, they're really clean. The mold lines are really obvious. They are quite pronounced, but they aren't difficult to clean up or anything like that. They are the quality. If you've ever got any of the other stuff from Grafenau Games, these are exactly the sort of quality that you will come to expect. Even you can see here where this arm had to be glued on. I think I did actually pin it just for additional security, but it is a nice, really solid contact point, and it does go on and look really clean. Now this guy, the agent, I'm less sure. Now, don't get me wrong, he's a classic character of the kind of, World War II pulp military fiction sort of thing, the evil guy who's rooting out the hidden allied forces that are in the area and hunting them, and just feels and radiates evil. So this is a really classic character. Arguably, all of these are a little bit less historical and a lot more pulp movie fiction sort of caricatures, almost, is how I would describe them. It's how they look, and I suspect that's probably how they play in the game. Here again, you can see really, really simple, clean sculpts, but that's not in a bad way, in a really nice sort of way. They are really fun, I think, at least, and I think they are going to be great to get to use. And then final one for completeness, we've got the Commandant. This guy, he's a little bit more extravagant, because of course he is. He runs the entire facility. So he's got his medal, he's got his dangly chains coming off his side, probably onto a pocket watch or something like that. He's even got a monocle. How else will you know he's evil if he didn't have a monocle? But he is going to be someone, I think I'm going to paint him to look a little bit older, and he is going to look absolutely evil as anything. So here they all are. They've all been painted up. I pretty exclusively stuck to black clothing just to really drive home that evilness of them, and tried to just, base them up in my typical way. These are actually some new tufts that I'm trying, some 2mm stuff, which I'm finding actually 2mm tufts on 28mm does look the kind of length that grass generally we normally keep it at. I do find the 4 and the 6 ones that are up at people's ankles. Why has everybody in wargaming got overgrown gardens? So these are looking, I think, really nice. You can see they are speed painted, then with a little bit of a highlighting, nothing too fancy. And I do think that those big sort of shapes with this really actually does lend themselves well to that. So it's pretty much, it's a black citadel. It contrast paint, it's a white contrast paint, it's some flesh tones, and then a couple of quick scratchy highlights. These honestly painted up all of them in about a day or two, and I think, do that, get some varnish on them, and they actually come up really, really nice. I do particularly weirdly, as I said, I didn't particularly like him at the beginning, but the agent, that red tie, I don't know what it is, that little spot of a really bright colour, I really like that. It's one of those daft little things. I can't explain why I like it as much as I do. Again, the sort of the gem thing on the Commandant and on the Veteran, again, similar thing, that dot of single bit of colour, I do think is really nice. And also, I decided to, because I had so much fun with those, and I say they only took a couple of days to paint up, I actually had some models from the start set that were mostly finished, but not completely. So I decided, you know what, let's get them all the way and let's get those finished as well. So we've got, well, guys, I love the guy who's, giving up, and then we've got the metal Veteran guy not ready sort of thing, and the guy smoking a cigarette. They're all really characterful. I really do like these models. They are weird. I've gone for this really sort of bright, punchy, scratchy, with maybe a little bit more highlights than I normally would to really pick these guys out, and I think really add to what is now effectively a nice full collection, more or less, maybe. I do have some other miniatures that I've already painted up of, one of the dog handlers and things like that. So these have really just been to help round out more of my force. But of course, at the same time, I did also mention that there were the guys with helmets, and these ones, I didn't get them painted. I kind of ran out of time to do that, but I did want to put them together, see how they look, and include them in this video. And even though all they basically are is a head swap, I don't know, there's something about those, World War II Germans in the gas masks. There's something otherworldly about it. Again, it's that really pulpy sort of fiction, and I do think they actually do sell these sculpts, the alternate head swaps, separately, so I do think you can pick up more of these, which I've got to admit I am very, very tempted to do. They do look really even. I could see this, you know, if you could get a lab or a factory or something set up on the field, you get a load of these guys walking around, you've got the commandant and all that. I think you could make a really, really interesting game scenario using these in some way, shape or form, because they are just really evocative sculpts, and I think they will play really nicely on the table. And for anybody who doesn't like painting faces, even better. Well, there we go. That's a nice little collection, I think, at least, to the start of an O200 German section. So we've got a good little bit of some characters and just some general guys to start off with. And I do think I have enough to do the starter mission and maybe some kind of facsimile of a couple of other missions. Luckily, though, you know, these Germans, they do paint up relatively quickly and easily, particularly if you're only doing a small batch of them. So I do think that I need to get a little bit of terrain done, need to get some houses or something set up, and then I am ready to go to play some O200 hours. Luckily, there is some solo play rules as well, so I do think I can bring that to you here on the channel. If that's something that you do want to see, though, do be sure down below, hit that subscribe button. It does help out the channel massively, and I really, really do appreciate it. And while you're there, hey, there's a comment. If you do enjoy this, what you think of the miniatures, you know, all that sort of stuff, let me know down below. I do read the comments. I do apologize, some of you. I do take longer than people would probably like to reply. I do apologize. I am terrible. I'm trying to be really good at the minute. I don't have any of the comments or really any social media on my phone. In order to check any of that stuff, I have to go onto my computer, and I'm terrible for remembering to do that quickly enough. But for me, I think it's a better option than having this, you know, box in my pocket all day that's buzzing and, you know, I'm checking every 5 seconds. So I'm trying to do it that way, and it does cause that delay. Do apologize for that. Do ask you bear with me. But anyway, that's besides all the point here. Thank you very much for watching today. Let me know what you think of them, and hopefully I will have some more World War II and O200 hours coming out for you in the very near future.